Ondo holders, and I am not surprised. I am not surprised that almost on a weekly basis we see some traditional financial entity that used to just despise crypto come into the space. Today we're going to talk about Chainlink Ondo and JPMorgan's partnership, what that means, what it's going to look like. I've got some other news stories for you too. But if you're holding Chainlink, remember we've talked about it. We talked about why it's one of my top picks for this cycle, primarily because almost every single project, whether it's in crypto or Web 2, traditional finance, they kind of have to use it if they want to get involved in crypto, primarily because without oracles, you can't really do stuff because that feeds the correct price data. And then Ondo, that's kind of like a BlackRock project. And anything that BlackRock touches, I personally wouldn't bet against. Not because I am a big BlackRock supporter, but I am more so here to make as much money as ethically as possible. And make sure you guys smash the like and drop me a comment. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. Now, let's go ahead and cover this news. Sorry, my nose is itchy. And yes, I'm in bed because this hotel room is super cold, but let's go ahead and talk about what the news was between Chainlink Ondo and JPMorgan. As most of you guys know, JPMorgan has their own private blockchain, which kind of sparks rumors about CBDCs and whatnot, which those are coming. But they essentially settled their first public blockchain transaction utilizing Ondo and Chainlink. And the story goes, according to Fortune and other sources as well, actually Chainlink posted it on X, JPMorgan settled its first transaction on a public blockchain using Chainlink and Ondo Finance. Tokenized U.S. Treasuries were transferred from JPMorgan's private blockchain to Ondo's public ledger. The transfer was executed by Connexus, JPMorgan's blockchain division. Chainlink CCIP was used to trigger the payment between networks, and Chainlink and JPMorgan have been in talks since 2023, signaling a long-term strategic planning. What does this mean? This means that Chainlink will be used quite a bit between traditional finance. It will be used I think like with a combination of projects, okay? So we're going to see Chainlink kind of get integrated, but we're also going to see other projects like Ondo, et cetera, get integrated too. Now, why does this matter? Why is this important? Well, we're all here to make as much money as legally and ethically as possible. So it's good to pay attention to projects that are built in the USA that actually have strong fundamental use cases. Yes, I know that meme coins were like the big rage, whatnot, but at the end of the day, we're going to see an altcoin season come with these types of projects that actually have valid utility because people actually want to, we want things that have real world use. And yeah, we are seeing some of these meme coins come back, some of the larger ones like Pepe, etc. But again, at the end of the day, you can make a lot of money with meme coins, but you can also lose a lot of money with meme coins. So focusing on these projects that do have real world partnerships, real world fundamentals, and they're actually being used is important. Now, we also like to talk about RWAs. RWAs is going to be a massive sector. When I think about RWAs, I think about like they're putting treasuries, they're putting bonds, they're putting all these things on chain. The reason why I think they want to put these on chain is not for transparency, but more so for so that they can take a bigger piece of the pie, so they can make more money. And because you have to remember, stocks and bonds and treasuries, they don't trade 24/7, 365. Crypto does, and putting them on chain allows them to do that. So again, this is pretty big news with Chainlink. We didn't see too much of a price pump, but at the end of the day, I mean, we're going to see a lot more of these stories break, which is going to be positive for the market. It's just going to get a lot more and more people very, very excited. Also, with that being said, a lot of people are talking about retail is not buying crypto right now. I love you too. And the reason why we're not seeing like a lot of retail buy crypto right now is the economy is not super great. People don't necessarily have a lot of money. To do that. We're seeing more traditional finance come into the mix. So at the same time, pay attention to who's buying and what's buying. And I always challenge all of you to have at least $1,000 in crypto, or I think it's $1,000 more than Germany. So now with that being said, Bitcoin is actually 5% away from breaking all-time high. I think we're trading at, let me take a little bit of a double check over here. We're trading at what, $104,000, right? Yeah, $103,000, getting super, super close to breaking all-time high. I think we might see that happen this month. I really, really do, especially with Bitcoin 2025 and all these crazy announcements that are happening almost on a daily basis. Right now, Ethereum's trading at 2,500, Solana 174, Sui 387, XRP 253, Link 16. Thank you so much, Lawrence, for the super chat. I appreciate it. I'm going to go ahead and get some, buy something delicious today. Hold on, we're going to get to Cardano. Cardano's trading at 79 cents. HBAR 20 cents. Thank you so much, guys. But yeah, so the market's doing its thing. We're getting little pullbacks here and there, but that is okay. Oh, Germany. Thank you, Mixing. Germany has $713.81 in Bitcoin. So not financial advice, but I think it would be super cool if you own more Bitcoin than Germany does. They only own $714. Okay, so you do with that what you must. What else? Okay, now let's go ahead and get back into the news because there's a couple other things I need to leave you with today. Also, too. Warren Buffett, it came out that Warren Buffett owns 5.1% of the stock market, something along those lines. Don't quote me on that. Don't quote me on that. But kind of what brings me to Michael Saylor and kind of what Michael Saylor is doing. And Michael Saylor started this trend with companies putting Bitcoin on the balance sheet. Well, it was just announced that Jack Mallers from 21 Capital and Tether, in partnership with Tether, bought 4,812 Bitcoin for $458 million. It's a treasury company, and they're pretty much going to be doing the same strategy that MicroStrategy is doing, buying Bitcoin, taking out loans or taking out debt, issuing TradFi products, all that type of stuff. We're going to see a lot of people doing that. And while we're talking about Bitcoin, the U.S. spot Bitcoin ETFs logged 96 million in net outflows after hitting peak cumulative inflows. This ended the 4-day streak of inflows after reaching a record 41.18 billion in cumulative inflows for the previous day. And that could explain why we're having a little bit of a pullback, which is good. Pullbacks are good. Also, too, want to talk about ETFs really quick. SEC seeks feedback for in-kind redemptions on BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF, delays Solana and Dogecoin proposals. So basically what BlackRock and a lot of these other companies are wanting to do now, they want to offer in-kind redemption for the Bitcoin and Ethereum spot ETFs. And if these do get approved before we get the other digital asset spot ETFs approved, it'll kind of set precedent, which is really good. So what makes this pretty exciting for the for the market in general is in-kind redemption. So maybe you put cash in to buy these Bitcoin ETFs, and then what ends up happening is that you can get Bitcoin back if you decide to sell. So pretty interesting stuff. Also too, XRP flipped USDT again and did surpass $150 billion market cap. So good for them. Happy for them. Also, a London-based asset manager buys nearly 500 million worth of Ethereum in 6 days. They borrowed 240 million USDT from Aave and deposited on Binance, likely to buy the funds. That's actually really cool, and that does help me feel a little bit more comfortable with Ethereum this cycle. But again, I'm selling most of my Ethereum this cycle, really just because I don't want to take the risk. But other than that, guys, that's the news. Like, this is really, really big for Chainlink and Ondo. It's not going to send the market. I know we're having a little bit of a red day, but at the same time, this is good news. And we always talk about building a solid foundation for future bullish action in the future, and that's exactly what we're doing now. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I put out a video for you guys on inflation yesterday. Inflation came in a little bit lower than expected, but we're still inflated and in a recession, all kinds of stuff. But anyways, I'm going to be dropping a second video for you guys, so stick around. I'm going to put it out, I think, at 2 p.m. PST. I'm in a different time zone, so I don't know. But anyways, thank you guys so much. Make sure to smash the like. Make sure to drop a comment and subscribe and set alerts. Also, if you want me to say hi back to you, you have to become a channel member. It's like $4 or $5. So big hi and shout out to Lawrence, to Mr. R, to Mixing, Mr. D, Sparkwater, John Legend, and everyone else. Again, you guys, thank you so much for watching. And if you're holding Chainlink and Ondo, congratulations. You are doing just fine this cycle. Bye-bye.